Hi guys, here is a revision video working through a draft answer to answer this question. How does executive pay impact the North American labor market? In 2016, the average annual compensation that a Canadian executive received was more than 200 times an average worker's salary. Also, Canadian executive pay rose by 8% compared to 2015, whereas an ordinary worker's salary only rose by 0.5%. Executives in the US made about 347 times more than their employees in 2016, up from 41 times in 1983. Executives receive a base salary, but this only makes up around 10 to 20% of their total pay package. The largest contribution of their pay package comes from share grants, allowing them to make more money by owning firms' shares, followed by bonus pay, which is related to whether the company's stock price goes up. Stock option is another reward for executives, allowing them to buy companies' share at a agreed-upon price and selling them immediately for profits, regardless of what the stock market is paying. Now, here's a video that takes a closer look at how executive pay impact the North American labor market.
7 to 1, are you kidding? 30 to 1, I wish. You got to go back to 1980 for that. Now, many people know that CEO pay is out of control. In the 1980s, it got up to about 34 workers made as much money as one CEO. Research shows that most Americans think that the ratio is like 30 to 1. It's also the case that Americans believe that, the CEO maybe should make more than them. They believe the ratio should be more like 7 to 1. The truth is, it's 339 on the median. People may go to work, they may work hard all day. They may wear their feet out, wear their backs out. They may work as hard as anybody ever did. And yet, their pay is stagnant. Their pay stays where it is. And the CEOs, they just clean up. They just take all kinds of money home. And what this means is that people have to put together 1, 2, and 3 jobs just to make ends meet. And it means that CEOs have way more money than they can even spend.
According to a new report by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives, the average compensation for Canada's top bosses hit a record, $10.4 million in 2016. That's more than 200 times the average worker's salary of just under $50,000. CEO pay packages rose 8% from 2015, while an average worker's salary rose by just 0.5%.
Why are CEOs paid so much more? CEO salary options are often dictated by company board directors, who the CEOs appoint themselves. Such close relationships leave little room for pay cuts. Even if company performance drops, CEOs may still get a raise to inspire investor confidence. As globalization of the workforce became increasingly common and outsourcing allowed companies to prosper, worker productivity steadily rose. Over the last 40 years, productivity has nearly doubled. Yet due to weak U.S. labor laws and overseas competition, wages for the middle and lower class have barely even kept up with inflation. Meanwhile, company profits have exploded, with nearly all those profits being diverted upwards.
So many of you may wonder, what are the causes and consequences of the big wage gap between the CEOs and their employees?
The consequence of executive pay impact North American labor markets is that the economy will be weakened by inequality. Stock growth and will contribute to social and political instability. When the income gap becomes too large, the purchasing power of ordinary workers decreases, which can erode the strength of the economy. This existing inequality can result in high turnover rates and low employee morale. Moreover, there is criticism that Canada's largest companies paid out 4 times as much money to shareholders, including corporate executives, than it have cost to fully fund their worker pension plans, putting the retirement of those workers at risk. Last but not least, the loophole in Canada's tax system allows corporate executives to pay 50% less in tax on compensation earned through stock options. This loophole leads to the loss of funding for social welfare programs, and ordinary taxpayers are subsidizing those executives' salaries.
Some current policy options to deal with the high executive pay include bonus deferrals and sunshine lists. Deferring bonuses allow companies to ensure executives plan for the firm's well-being in the long run, or don't get lucky with markets, because their profits depend on firms' ongoing success. Sunshine lists publicly disclose how much money is made by individuals in the public sector over a certain income level. Incorporation of sunshine lists into companies may assist with accountability with firm spending and ensure that shareholders know exactly how their executives are being paid. However, some people argue that sunshine lists invades the personal privacy of public servants, putting people at risk of violence and harassment.
Some CEOs make so much more than the average worker. Are they right? CEOs make the big picture decisions that affect the fate of the companies they lead. When you manage a company worth tens of billions of dollars, even a minor improvement in the company's performance can mean tens of millions of dollars more in the pockets of shareholders. So why shouldn't a successful Fortune 500 CEO make the current average of $10 million a year? Now, one reason many people scoff at such pay packages is that they see them as coming out of the pockets of workers. The truth is that CEOs make money by creating wealth, not by plundering it. Their success doesn't come at anyone else's expense. In fact, if pay comes out of anyone's pockets, it's the owners, not the employees. And the reason the owners pay CEOs so much? It's because they're worth it. The work they do is good, important, and really, really hard, and they deserve to be handsomely compensated for their efforts. Are there bad CEOs out there who make more than they deserve? Of course. And it's the shareholders who pay the price. And they have every incentive to get rid of bad CEOs and bring in good ones. But to hire talented leaders, that requires paying them competitive prices. Now, CEO pay has risen in recent decades, but so has the pay of other superstar performers, including athletes, actors, and lawyers. Few people doubt that LeBron James is worth his $24 million a year salary. Harping on high pay of CEOs, that just reflects an irrational bias against businessmen and not a fair assessment of their productive contribution.
Do we have a problem with pay inequality in North America? Well, I think people are viewing this with two questions. The first is, are CEOs being overpaid? The second is, are workers worse off because of it? And I think the answer to both questions is no. We have lots of evidence that a good chief executive can add lots of value to their firm much more than they're being paid. One example is Burberry, which lost $500 million in value when its brilliant CEO Angela Ahrendts stepped down suddenly a few years ago. And guess what? She is now Apple's Senior Vice President of Retail and Online Store since 2014. She is now Apple's highest paid employee, making $24.2 million in 2017. And there are lots of examples like this.
The second question is, are workers worse off because of this? Again, the answer is no. Because workers do well when the firm they're working for do well. Firms more than ever now in a globalized world need to have the best talent at the top, because the strategic decisions that those CEOs make can have huge effects not just on whether the firm is profitable or not, but on the life of the firm. Let's take the example of Samsung versus Sony. Sony decided not to invest in smartphones, but Samsung made the strategic decision to invest in smartphones. So in result, Samsung is now a much bigger company than Sony. Its huge success were all because of that strategic decisions that they made. Well, do we have pay inequality in North America? Definitely. But do we have a problem with pay inequality in North America? I think not. It's so important to hire that top talent. And firms should be willing to pay the top dollar to get this top talent. And I'm glad most firms do.
What all this suggests is that executive pay is a hybrid of different factors, neither rich nor fair. And this completes our presentation.